The forest was silent, but fear was loud. Two tiny alien twins ran between the tall, glowing trees. Their small feet hit the ground fast, but not fast enough. Their breaths were short. Their hearts were racing. Behind them, something heavy moved. Through the forest, breaking branches with ease. The twins were not warriors. They were not soldiers. They were children. Their skin was pale blue, their eyes wide with terror. Each twin held the other's hand tightly, afraid to let go even for a second. The older twin looked back and saw shadows moving between the trees. The sound was closer now. Too close. Suddenly, the ground shook. The twins stopped. The forest went quiet again. Too quiet. Then they saw him. A massive shape stood ahead of them. A giant figure, taller than any alien they had ever seen. He was wide, strong, and covered in scars. In his hands he held a huge metal axe. It was bigger than both. Twins together. A human. Every story they had heard about humans rushed into their minds at once. Humans were violent. Humans were monsters. Humans destroyed worlds. The twins froze. Running was no longer an option. The giant human looked down at them. His face was hard, shaped by years of work and pain. His clothes were simple and worn. He looked like part of the forest itself, strong, silent, and dangerous. The younger twin began to cry. The older twin stepped forward, even though fear made his legs shake. He bowed his head, the way their mother had taught them. "Please," the twin said in a weak voice. We need help." The human did not move. Behind the twins, the sound returned. Heavy footsteps, deep growls. Whatever was chasing them had not stopped. The human slowly turned his head toward the sound. His eyes narrowed. He listened carefully. Then he looked back at the twins. "You're far from home," he said. His voice was deep, calm, and slow. It did not sound angry. That confused the twins even more. The older twin swallowed. "They are coming," he said. "Please. We don't know where else to go." The human sighed and rested the axe against his shoulder. "What's chasing you?" he asked. Before the twin could answer, something large burst out of the trees behind them. A dark creature with metal skin and glowing red eyes charged forward. It screamed as it attacked. The twins screamed too, but the human moved faster. Then fear. In one smooth motion, he stepped forward and swung his axe. The blade flashed through the air. There was a loud crack. The creature fell to the ground, split in two. Silence returned. The twins stared at the fallen creature, then up at the human. Their mouths were open. They could not believe what they had just seen. The human shook his axe clean and looked down at them again. "You're safe," he said. That word felt strange. It felt impossible. The twins slowly nodded. Their bodies still shook, but the danger was gone for now. The human knelt down so his eyes were closer to theirs. Even then, he looked enormous. "Why are children running alone in this forest?" he asked. The twins looked at each other. Their training told them never to speak to humans. Their fear told them to stay silent. But something else was stronger now. Hope. "Our home is dying," the older twin said quietly. "Our city is under attack." The human's expression changed. Not with anger, but with something deeper. "How far?" he asked. "Very close." The younger twin said, "We were sent to find help. Anyone strong enough." The human stood up slowly. He looked toward the sky, where distant lights flickered between the clouds. "Do you know what humans are known for?" he asked. The twins shook their heads. "They say humans only bring war," he continued. "They say humans destroy everything they touch." He looked back at the twins. "But sometimes," he said, "humans help." The forest wind moved around them. The twins felt something change in the air. The older twin gathered all his courage and asked the question that would change everything. "Will you help us?" he said, "even if the whole galaxy hates humans?" The human looked down at His hands that had broken trees and ended lives. Then he looked at the twins again. His answer did not come yet. Far away, a deep explosion echoed through the sky. Their city was falling. The human tightened his grip on the axe dot, and for the first time, the galaxy was about to learn what happens when a human chooses to protect the weak. The twins followed the giant human through the forest, still unsure if they had made the right choice. He walked slowly, carefully, as if afraid to crush the ground beneath his boots. Each step shook the earth just a little. The twins had never seen a being like him before. He did not rush. He did not panic. He moved like nothing in the universe could truly stop him. They stayed close behind. The older twin watched the human's back. His shoulders were wide. Old scars crossed his arms and neck. These were not the marks of animals or accidents. These were the scars of war. Humans were forbidden in most parts of the galaxy. Everyone knew that. Long ago, humans had fought in wars so violent that entire systems were erased. After that, the galaxy decided one thing: never trust a human again. Yet here they were, walking behind one. "My name is Caleb," the human said without turning around. The twins stopped for a moment, surprised. "I am Tiri," the older twin said, "and this is my sister Neela." Caleb nodded once, as if he respected their names. They reached a small clearing where broken trees lay on the ground. A simple wooden shelter stood nearby. It was not advanced. It was not alien. It was human, rough, strong, and practical. Caleb set his axe against a tree and reached into the shelter. The twins stiffened, afraid, but he returned holding a metal bottle and a small food bag. "Sit," he said gently. They obeyed. He gave them water first. Neela drank too fast and coughed. Caleb smiled slightly, then looked away as if embarrassed by it. "Why would children be sent alone?" he asked quietly. Tiri lowered his eyes. "Because no one else survived." The words hung heavy in the air. "People were peaceful," Tiri continued. "We had no army. When the machines came, we could not fight." Caleb's jaw tightened. "Machines. That explained the creature in the forest. The council told us humans would never help," Neela said. "They said humans only care about themselves." Caleb said nothing. He sat on a fallen log, staring at the ground. His hands clenched slowly, then relaxed. "Once," he said, "I was part of something big, a human war group. We were sent to stop threats like this." The twins looked at him with wide eyes. "What happened?" Tiri asked. Caleb looked toward the sky again. "Too many died. On both sides. After the war, humans were blamed for everything. Maybe we deserved some of it." He stood up. "So I left," he continued. "I chose trees instead of people." Neela looked at his axe. "But you are still strong." Caleb nodded. "Strength does not leave easily." Suddenly, Tiri's wrist device began to glow red. Neela gasped. "The signal!" she cried. Tiri activated the small hologram. Above his wrist, an image appeared, an alien city surrounded by fire and smoke. Tall towers were falling. Small figures ran through the streets. A loud explosion shook the image. "Our home," Neela whispered. Caleb stepped closer. Large mechanical shapes moved through the city. They crushed buildings. Energy weapons burned through shields like paper. "How long?" Caleb asked. I checked the device. His voice shook. "Less than 1 hour." Caleb closed his eyes. 1 hour. That was not enough time for armies. Not enough time for permission. Not enough time for councils. Neela looked up at him, tears filling her eyes. "Please," she said. "We know humans are feared. We know helping US will bring trouble." Tiri knelt. "But if anyone can stand against them," he said, "it is you." Caleb turned away from them. He walked to his axe and lifted it slowly. The forest seemed to hold its breath. "I promised myself never again." He said, "Never again would I fight for a galaxy that hates humans." He paused, "But I also promised something else." He turned back. "I promised I would never ignore children asking for help." The twins' eyes widened. Caleb reached into his shelter and pulled out a small device, old, scratched, human, military tech. He activated it. A single signal shot into space. "This is Caleb," he said into the device. "Human civilian, no Arnie." He looked at the burning hologram of the alien city. "But if anyone is listening," he continued, "children are in danger." The device went silent. The twins stared at him in shock. "What if they come?" "For you?" Neela asked. Caleb smiled, but there was no joy in it. "Then they'll remember why humans were feared." The sky above the forest flashed with distant light. The machines had begun their final attack. Caleb lifted his axe and looked down at the twins. "Hold on," he said. "This will get loud." The sky changed color as Caleb moved. Dark clouds rolled across the horizon, glowing faintly with fire from far away. The twins followed close behind him as he walked out of the forest and toward the open land beyond. The ground became rough, broken by old roads and metal ruins left from past wars. Terry looked up at the human again. "Are you really coming with us?" he asked. Caleb did not slow down. "I already am." That answer felt heavy. Humans were not supposed to care. Humans were not supposed to choose sides. Yet this one had already chosen. They reached a long flat clearing where an old human transport waited, half buried in dirt. It was scratched, burned, and silent until Caleb touched it. Lights flickered on. The machine woke like an old beast. "You built this?" Neela asked. "No," Caleb said. "I repaired it." Humans never stop fixing broken things. The transport rose slowly into the air. The twins held onto the seats as the ground fell away beneath them. Through the window, they could see the forest shrinking behind them. Ahead, the sky burned red as they flew closer. The twins could hear distant explosions even through the metal walls. Their city was no longer just under attack. It was dying. The transport landed hard on the edge of the city. The ground shook, sirens screamed, smoke filled the air. Tall alien buildings lay broken, some still burning. Caleb stepped out first. The twins expected fear. Instead, he stood still, watching the chaos like a storm watcher studying the wind. Metal machines moved through the streets. Their bodies were sharp and cold, their weapons glowing with deadly light. They fired without pause, without emotion. "This is not a fight for one man," Terry said softly. Caleb nodded. "That is why it ends with one man standing." The twins watched as he pulled heavy armor from the transport. It was old human gear, scarred and patched. He strapped it on slowly, carefully, like a ritual. Nyla noticed something strange. The armor was marked with small symbols. "Names. Who are they?" she asked. "People I failed," Caleb answered. He placed the helmet under his arm and lifted his axe. The machines noticed him then. A loud metallic voice echoed through the street. "Human detected. Threat level, extreme." The twins froze. Caleb stepped forward. One machine fired. The blast hit the ground near him, throwing dust and fire into the air. When the smoke cleared, he was still standing. He moved fast. Too fast. His axe smashed into the first machine, cutting through metal like wood. Sparks flew. The machine collapsed. More machines turned toward him. The city shook as weapons fired from every direction. Caleb did not stop. Each step he took pushed the machines back. He used the broken streets, the fallen walls, and even the machine's own weapons against them. When one grabbed his arm, he tore it apart with his bare hands. The twins watched from cover, unable to look away. "He is only one," Neela whispered. "But he fights like many," Terry replied. Suddenly, a massive machine rose above the others. It was tall, wide, and glowing with power. Energy built at its core. Planet defense override activated. It announced. Caleb stopped. He looked at the machine. Then at the city behind him. Children were still running. Families were still trapped. Caleb turned his head slightly toward the twins. "If I fall," he said calmly, "run." Mila shook her head. "You said you would help us." Caleb smiled. "I did," he said. "And help does not always mean survival." The machine's core began to shine brighter. A planet-killer weapon was charging. Caleb tightened his grip on the axe and took one final step forward. He made a promise in that moment, one no human should ever have to make. He would stand alone. So the small could live. The machines did not wait. The massive commander unit raised its glowing core, and the air around it began to shake. Energy rolled across the street like heat from a fire. Buildings cracked. Windows shattered. The twins covered their ears. Caleb stood alone in the open road. He did not move. The machines calculated. They scanned his body. They measured his strength, his speed, his weapons. Their systems worked fast. Their conclusion was simple. One human was not enough. They were wrong. The first energy blast fired. The street exploded into light and dust. Fire rushed forward, swallowing everything in its path. The twins screamed. Sure, the human was gone. But when the smoke cleared, Caleb was still there. His boots were burned. His armor was cracked. But his feet were planted deep into the ground. He had turned his body at the last moment, letting the blast slide past him instead of hitting him head on. The machines paused. Caleb moved. He ran straight toward them. Every step was heavy. The ground broke under his feet. A machine fired again, but Caleb grabbed a fallen metal plate and used it as a shield. The blast hit the plate and exploded harmlessly to the side. He threw the plate like a spear. It crushed a machine's head, reached the front line, and swung his axe with full force. Metal screamed as it broke apart. Sparks flew like rain. One machine fell, then another. The commander unit turned its body, adjusting its aim. Too slow. Caleb jumped. No human should have been able to jump that high. But Caleb did. He landed on the commander's arm, his weight bending the metal. He drove the axe down again and again, cutting deep. The machine roared in alarm. Defense drones swarmed him from all sides. They fired nonstop. Energy burned his armor. Pain shot through his body. Caleb did not scream. He grabbed one drone and smashed it into another. Both fell. He ripped the power core from a third and threw it into the street. It exploded. The twins watched in silence. They had never seen a being fight like this. Not because of technology. Not because of numbers. But because of will. The commander unit pulled back and spoke again. "Human, surrender." Survival chance, 0. Caleb laughed. It was not a loud laugh. It was tired, broken, but real. "Humans don't surrender when others are behind us," he said. The machine charged its core again, brighter than before. This time, the blast hit Caleb directly. He was thrown across the street and slammed into a broken wall. The ground cracked around him. Dust filled the air. The twins ran forward. "Caleb!" Neela cried. For a moment, there was nothing. Then the rubble moved. Caleb pushed himself up slowly. Blood ran down his face. His armor was nearly gone. One arm hung useless at his side. Still, he stood. The machines hesitated again. Their systems did not understand this. Caleb picked up his axe with his good hand. The blade was chipped and dull, but it was still heavy. He walked forward, one step at a time. Behind him, alien civilians began to notice. They watched from broken doors and shattered windows. They saw the human refusing to fall. Whispers spread. "A human. He is still fighting. He is protecting us." The commander unit reacted. It activated a new protocol. Planet cleansing sequence initiated. A deep sound rolled through the sky. Far above the city, something massive began to move. The twins' devices lit up with warning signals. Tiri's voice shook. That weapon, it will destroy everything. Caleb looked up at the sky. Then he smiled. Good, he said. That means they're scared. The commander unit stepped back, retreating toward the center of the city. Caleb followed. Every step hurt. Every breath burned. But he kept going, because now the city believed in him, and far above, the planet killer. Weapon began its final charge. The sky screamed. Above the city, the massive weapon continued to charge. Long lines of light formed in the clouds, spinning slowly like a giant eye opening. Every few seconds, the ground trembled as energy built higher and higher. The countdown had begun. Caleb felt it in his bones. He walked through the broken street, leaving dark footprints behind him. His blood mixed with dust and ash. Each step sent pain through his body, but he did not slow down. The commander unit waited at the center of the city. It was damaged now. One arm was missing. Sparks fell from its body, but its core burned brighter than ever. Around them, the streets were empty. The twins watched from a collapsed building. Neela held Tiri's hand so tight her fingers hurt. He can't keep going, she whispered. I said nothing. He knew the truth. Caleb stopped a few meters from the machine. He leaned on his axe for support. His breathing was heavy. His vision blurred, but he forced his eyes to stay open. The commander unit spoke again. Human body failure detected. Surrender recommended. Caleb looked up. He saw something the machine could not understand. Fear, not fear for himself. Fear for everyone else. He lifted his axe and pointed it at the machine. You don't understand humans, he said. We break, but we don't stop. The commander unit fired. A beam of energy tore through the street and struck Caleb's side. His armor shattered. He was thrown to the ground. The twins screamed. Caleb did not move for a long moment. The city was silent. Then a small sound broke the quiet. A cough. Caleb rolled onto his back and forced himself to sit up. His body shook. One leg would not respond. His arm was burned badly. Still, he grabbed the axe. Alien civilians watched from hiding places. Some cried. Some prayed. Some could not look away. No one helped him. No one could. Himself forward. The commander unit paused again. Its system showed impossible data. Human mobility, critical. Threat level, unchanged. That made no sense. Caleb pushed himself up using the axe as a crutch. He stood on one leg, shaking, but standing. Why? The machine asked. Human life has low survival value. Explain. Caleb laughed weakly. Because, he said, you don't know what life is worth. He charged. Not fast. Not strong, but enough. The commander unit fired again. The blast hit Caleb's chest and threw him back. He slammed into the ground. This time he did not get up. The twins ran toward him. Neela reached his side first. She cried openly now. Please, she said. You promised. Caleb opened one eye. He smiled at her. I kept it, he said softly. Tiri looked up at the sky. The weapon was almost ready. Caleb, he said, his voice breaking. The weapon will fire soon. Caleb followed his gaze. He took a slow breath. Then he did something no one expected. He reached into his damaged armor and pulled out a small device. Old, simple, human. A manual detonator. The twins' eyes widened. That will kill you, Neela said. Caleb nodded. Humans have a saying, he replied. Sometimes the cost is the point. The commander unit noticed the device. Warning. Self-destruction detected. Caleb pressed the detonator into the ground, but he did not activate it yet. Instead, he looked at the twins. Run, he said. As far as you can. They did not move. Caleb raised his voice for the first time. Run. They obeyed. Caleb dragged himself toward the commander unit, leaving a trail behind him. Every movement burned. Every breath hurt. Above, the planet killer weapon reached full charge. The sky turned white. Caleb stopped directly. Beneath the machine, he placed his hand on the detonator and closed his eyes. The light in the sky froze. For one impossible second, everything stopped. The planet killer weapon was fully charged. The commander unit stood above Caleb, ready to erase the city, the children, and the future of this world. Caleb opened his eyes. He did not activate the detonator. Instead, he smiled. The commander unit spoke, its voice sharp and certain. Human resistance is illogical. Final cleansing will begin. Caleb slowly lifted his head. That's where you're wrong, he said. Humans don't fight with logic alone. The detonator in his hand was not a bomb. It was a signal key. Caleb pressed it. Deep underground. Far beneath the city, something answered. The ground shook violently. Streets cracked open. The commander unit staggered as massive steel doors burst from the surface. Old human machines rose from the depths, ancient, forgotten, buried after past wars. Defense towers, kinetic cannons, shield emitters, human tech. The machines had never scanned underground. They never expected humans to plan this far ahead. The twins watched from a distance, frozen in shock. He planned this. Neela whispered. I understood. Caleb had not been hiding in the forest. He had been guarding something. The first cannon fired. A solid metal round hit the commander unit's chest and shattered its core shield. Sparks and alarms exploded from its body. The machine screamed, not in pain, but in confusion. Unknown technology detected. Caleb pushed himself to his feet, using the last of his strength. Unknown to you, he replied. Old to us. The planet killer weapon above began to destabilize. Its energy flow broke apart as the underground systems locked onto it. A passionate, human voice echoed through the city speakers. Orbital target acquired. The sky flashed. A focused beam shot upward, piercing the clouds and striking the weapon directly. The massive structure cracked, then collapsed in on itself. It exploded far above the atmosphere. The shockwave rolled across the city like thunder. Silenced. The commander unit stumbled backward. Its systems failed one by one. Human threat. Unacceptable. Caleb stepped forward one final time. He raised his axe. This ends now, he said. The axe fell. The commander unit collapsed into pieces, its light fading forever. Caleb dropped to one knee. The twins ran to him. You did it. Neela cried. Caleb shook his head. No, he said softly. We did. Alien civilians slowly came out of hiding. They stared at the human in disbelief. Some bowed. Some knelt. Some simply cried. Far above, ships began to arrive. Not enemies. Observers. Galactic Council vessels. They had seen everything. A single human. No army, no permission. Standing against extinction. A cold voice echoed from the sky. Human Caleb, you have violated multiple galactic laws. Caleb looked up, exhausted but calm. I know, he answered. The twins held onto him tightly. The council continued. But you also saved a protected civilization. The pause that followed felt heavier than any weapon. The galaxy was about to decide, something it had feared for centuries. What to do. When humans remind everyone who they truly are. The city was quiet for the first time in many hours. Smoke still rose from broken streets, but the screens were gone. The machines were destroyed. The sky was clear again. What remained was silence and disbelief. Caleb sat on the ground, his back against a broken wall. His body was covered in wounds. His breathing was slow and heavy. Yet he was alive. The twins stayed beside him, afraid he might disappear if they let go. Above the city, the Galactic Council ships hovered like silent judges. Their smooth, shining forms reflected the light of the burning ruins below. A projection. appeared in the air. The face of a council speaker formed cold, old, and distant. "Human Caleb," the speaker said. "You acted without permission. You activated banned technology. You caused the destruction of an entire machine fleet." Caleb looked up slowly. He did not stand. He did not bow. "I protected children," he said. "If that is a crime, then judge me." The city listened. The council speaker paused. "For centuries," the speaker continued, "humans have been labeled dangerous. Too strong, too emotional, too violent." The projection changed. Images appeared, recordings from the battle. Caleb standing alone. Caleb shielding civilians. Caleb refusing to fall. "But today," the speaker said, "we witnessed something else." The twins looked up. "We witnessed restraint," the speaker said. "We witnessed sacrifice. We witnessed a human choosing life over victory." A quiet wave passed through the crowd. The council ships lowered slightly. "Human Caleb," the speaker announced. "The ban on human presence in this system is lifted." Gasps spread through the city. "And more than that," the speaker added, "this world will be placed under human protection." Caleb closed his eyes. He had not fought for power. He had not fought for respect, yet both had found him anyway. Medical teams rushed forward. Alien healers worked carefully on his wounds. The twins refused to leave his side. Days later, the city began to rebuild. Human engineers arrived, not soldiers, but builders. They repaired homes, restored power, and helped the aliens stand again. No flags were raised. No victories were claimed. Caleb did not stay. When his wounds healed enough, he returned to the forest. Back to the trees. Back to the axe. Back to quiet. The twins watched him go. Years passed. The twins grew older. They became leaders, teachers, and protectors of their people. And whenever the young asked why humans were no longer feared, the twins told the same story. They spoke of a giant human lumberjack, a human who listened, a human who stood alone so others could live. They did not call him a warrior. They called him something better. The gentle giant. Far away, in a quiet forest, Caleb cut wood beneath tall trees. Birds rested nearby. The world was calm. A child's voice echoed in the distance. "Is it true?" the voice asked. "Are humans really that strong?" Caleb smiled and swung his axe. "Strong enough," he said, "to protect the small." And that became the truth the galaxy remembered. Humans are not feared because they destroy worlds. They are feared because when they choose to care, nothing can stop them.